you're following along, it is going to be an active workshop. So we're going to be highlighting and writing throughout the session. So for those of you who are doing at home, just follow along as though you were in the workshop today. So for those of you who are just joining, we're going to be working in 2 documents today. So you're going to have your personal insight question, personal statement document open, and then also the CAPS supplement essays worksheet handout where you've been doing your college research homework. So we'll have both of those documents. Those are both located in your all essays folder. If you have any trouble with locating those documents, you can post a question or let us know through the Q&A, and we can help you with that. And I'll give you just a minute to get into your folders and open up your documents, and we'll get started. All right, so some of you may have had an opportunity to work within the handout, the worksheet that we'll be working in today. There was a homework section in there with college research to do. Even if you haven't had the opportunity to do that handout before the workshop, you can use college research notes that you've done by doing a virtual tour or an in-person tour, or any notes that you might have as you were completing your college list research. So go ahead and bring up anything that might help you today with completing the exercises. All right, and Felicia has a couple of other announcements, so I'm going to hand it over to her for a moment.
Hi, everyone. We're super thrilled to have you all here today. And this is a really important workshop. And the reason for that is that all of your colleges are going, in some way or another, are going to be asking you why you want to attend their college through their questions. And because they really want to feel a connection with you, and they really want to make sure that you understand what they're about and make sure there's a fit. These questions are really important, and they often say that colleges pay more attention to the supplement questions than they do to the personal statement, right? So it's a hard genre. This is the kind of genre that you're going to write when you apply for a job. So, I'm applying to your company. These are the reasons why. This is why I want to work with you. It's very similar. So the one thing I want to say today is this is most likely something very new to you. Many of you may have applied to summer programs or internships, so that those experiences will have prepared you for this exercise. But this is the hardest essay, and that's why we're starting early. We're introducing it to you today. Please don't get discouraged or frustrated with yourself if it feels kind of clunky today, or it's not coming together really easily. It probably won't. It's not an easy genre. And what we're helping you do is take pieces of things you've written and wed them together with what you know about the college. And that's sort of the overview. But please be patient with yourself. You will get this down. So you have 2 months basically to be writing these essays. The first one, we'll probably have you work on sort of the easier, low-hanging fruit colleges, your safeties and your matches first, so that you can get used to this genre and then build it and build it and build it and get better at it for your reaches and your super reaches. So just again, have patience with yourself. It's not easy. Just go with the flow of the workshop. Try to just pay attention to the exercise and do it to the best of your ability. And don't worry about whether you're getting it right or not. If we're inside of your documents, we're just basically have them open. If you have any questions you want to answer, post them in the Q&A, and we can easily jump in and see if there's something very specific you're having trouble with. If you really hit a wall, don't worry about it. Just remember what, think in your head, what did I love about this college? What would I want to say to this college about, who I am and what I've done and what my main major interests are. So try not to put too much pressure on yourself. You will get better at this. You've got a couple weeks to work at it before you actually have to dive into the essays. The other thing I want to say is you all have been doing awesome work over the summer. We are super happy with the quality of students writing and where you are. We're pushing you hard here at the beginning because we want your writing to get better, and we want you to understand who you are more and more and more as you go through this process so that it gets easier. So, you know, we have been climbing a mountain. You are kind of in that process of reaching the very top of it, and then it will get easier going forward, right? So this supplement essay is kind of part of that difficult climb, but after this, it will get easier. You will go back to school. Nobody will have been writing on their essays, possibly. Some students will. They won't be as far as long as you are. We're really trying to get you to have all of your essays finalized by the end of September so that we can make sure they're in really good shape by mid-October, and by the October 26th, you will be applying to colleges. You will not be applying the night before. And the reason for that is that you can be assured there may be technical issues, or something's wrong with the app, or something goes wrong, right? And it won't happen to all of you, but I can guarantee you 1 or 2 people are going to have trouble. And if you have 4 or 5 days of buffer, you can actually call the admissions office and take care of it and let them know you're having trouble. If you've applied the night before, they will have no empathy for you and they won't be able to do anything. So that's why we're scheduled. It might feel you'll go talk to your peers and be like, I don't know why we're pushing and we're so ahead of schedule. We have done this for 15 years. There's a very good reason. We're trying to avoid you putting in all of this work and then having it jeopardized last minute. So thank you for understanding. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your hard work. And thank you, Shanley and Kate, for running this awesome workshop. And we are recording. Sorry, I forgot to say that. We are recording. So
Great, thanks. All right, thank you so much, Felicia. To build on what Felicia just spoke about, what exactly is a supplement essay? That is what we're talking about today. So the supplement essays are additional essays that each college asks applicants to write. Some colleges on your list may have 1 to 2 supplement essays, questions that they're asking. Some of the more competitive schools may have between 3 to 6 additional essays that you're asked to write. In these essays, colleges are measuring whether you are a fit. So you need to provide compelling details about why you want to attend that college specifically. That's what we'll be working on today, and making sure that you understand that process. In terms of timeline, the supplement essays will be added in the Common Application on August 1st during their relaunch. We will be adding as a team the supplement questions to each of your supplement essay documents once they're available on the Common Application after that relaunch. So we're hoping that most of your documents will be updated by August 3rd, just to give you a sense of that timeline. As Felicia mentioned, we've seen your work. We know you've been working really hard on the UC responses. These supplement essays build on a lot of what you have already been discussing in those essays. So they're looking for a deep understanding of your academic interests, your strengths, your experiences, your intellectual vitality. They're also asking you about your social impact, your interests and personality, but also then how you work with other people, how you impact other people. So those are a few tips on what we'll be covering today. Also, you have in your handout, your worksheet, a link to our writing tips. Please do use that as a reference on page 6 and 7. That is where we cover the supplement essays. There are examples in there that will be really helpful as you're writing your essays. And Kate is going to talk to you a little bit about how to capture your readers in these essays.
All right, thanks, Shanley. So in addition to all of the things that Shanley mentioned just now, your supplements also need to show your personality and express your authentic voice. We want your essays to highlight what you're going to bring to your college campus and who you're going to be. you've already done a lot of the work. We've been reading along with you. What we're going to do today is we're going to identify areas that you can reuse and refine from your PIQs in your supplements. So our first exercise in our workshop is going to help you do that by identifying your gems. So to get started, we're going to be working in your PIQ document. And so we're going to give you a second to open up that PIQ document, and Shanley will start going over our instructions.
All right, great. So as you have all opened your personal insight question document, we're going to be looking first at your major, your academic interest essay only. So we're just looking at that first academic major response that you've written for your personal insight questions for this first exercise. What we're looking at here is, and what we want you to highlight, we're going to highlight in yellow any really strong sentences, any places where you mention specific coursework, internship experiences, how you've pursued your academic interest in a tangible way inside and outside of the classroom. So we're going to go into that academic essay, highlight in yellow any of those really strong sentences, areas where you talk about clear academic experiences. Also, I just want to note that while many of you are clear about your major and are writing about that in your UC response to this question, some of you may not be clear on what you want to major in and are going to make that decision once you're in college. That's absolutely fine. We want you to also go into that essay and just highlight those areas where you really clearly talk about your academic interest areas. So again, you're highlighting those pieces in yellow as you're going through the essay, and we're going to give you 5 minutes to do those highlights.
All right, so we're gonna pause now and we're gonna switch from highlighting in yellow to highlighting in blue. We're gonna now look at your community or your leadership PIQ. What we want you to do is highlight in blue areas where you describe your impact and your efforts. So anywhere that you discuss what you've done to impact a community, whether that's a school community, a city, a region, a team, a club, an organization, wherever it might be. So we will once again give you 5 minutes, this time highlighting in blue impact and efforts. All right. So that's been 5 minutes.
All right, great. Thank you, Kate. We are going to move on to our third identifying of your gems. So you're going to look at your remaining PIQs. So some of you may have written a creativity, personal insight question response, a special talent skill response, maybe a standout essay or a challenge essay. We're going to just choose one of those options that you've written, and we're going to highlight now in green areas that you really feel showcase your voice, your personality, unique character qualities, where you stand out as uniquely you. We're going to go ahead and highlight those in green. And again, you're just choosing from one of those other remaining PIQs to do this exercise. And we'll give you 5 minutes to highlight in green.
All right, it's been 5 minutes. So now that you've identified your gyms, we're going to sort of switch gears and we're going to look at our research for our colleges. So we want to switch documents to the CAP supplement Y essay handout, this one here. And we want to look at your college research that you did for homework. This is just a sample of a student who did a good amount of research on BU. Some of you might have this much on your documents, and some of you might just be getting started. Either one is okay for right now, but it is very easy for your supplement essays to start to blur together. So we want to make sure that we have specific research on each university on your college list. And it's very important that your college is able to tell that you've done research on them from your essays. So you don't want to just say that I want to join, a marketing club at this school. You want to be really specific. And so this student has done a very nice job, has mentioned things like the BU pun on the website, very specific, the Newberry Center for First Generation Students, using those proper nouns. If you went on a visit, think about things that you saw, specific landmarks, the names of buildings, anything that's that specific is a good idea. If you're just beginning your research now, we do recommend that you avoid just going to the main page of your college's website because that can be overwhelming. It can take a long time. It's a lot easier just to Google what you want to find. So if I want to join the school newspaper and I'm applying to UVA, I might just type in UVA newspaper. And first thing that comes up, the Cavalier Daily. So again, I wouldn't say I want to join the newspaper. I want to say I want to join the Cavalier Daily. And just as another tip, the school newspapers often have a lot of information about what's going on campus and what's important. So it can be a good resource for research too. So we want to look at this research carefully. If you need to work on it, let's try and do most of our researching after this workshop. Today, we really want to practice reusing the information that we highlighted from our PIQs and beginning to build those essays out from there. But you do need to make sure that you have research on all of the colleges on your list before you write your supplements for them. But again, for right now, we're just going to work with what we have, and we're going to begin practicing writing these supplement essays.
All right. Thank you so much, Kate. So in the handout where you've done homework for this workshop with college research or using other research notes that you have, we're going to begin doing some writing and answering these questions. So the first question that you'll see in your document is the major interests, academic or educational opportunity question. This is a sample question that we've listed to work on today. You'll see there that we've listed several schools, Purdue University, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, UT Austin, USC, University of Michigan. These are all schools that have historically asked this question. However, even if you don't see that that's one of the schools that you're applying to, please go ahead and write anyway. Use the college research that you've done for your list specifically. So to answer this question, we're going to go back to the academic personal insight question where you did those yellow highlights. So we're just pulling up and looking at that first academic major question. And you're going to use those those gems that you highlighted in yellow and the college research that you've done, and you're going to integrate those in a response. So I'm going to let you read over the question to yourself. Take a moment to thoroughly read through it. That is one of the key tips, is thoroughly understand the question and make sure you're answering it. So we'll give you 15 minutes to do writing in response to this first question.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. So we did have a question, is that just to clarify the exercise, and it's a really good question. So I want to make sure everybody understands, but you're choosing a school from the list that you did for homework, right? So you had the opportunity to research 3 schools, and you're using these questions we've posted to answer the question for those schools. Absolutely. So you want to answer the questions for the schools that you know something about, the ones that you researched for your homework. Please let me know if that's not clear, and I'll try to explain it better. But basically, you don't want to be answering. It's better to take advantage of the research that you've done. And even if the school, the question that you're answering isn't asked by your college, because we don't know what the college questions are yet, they come out August 1st. It's just going through the exercise at this point of practicing writing that essay. And I can guarantee you, you'll be using, probably be using this material in one way or another on your application. So I hope that clarifies things.
Thanks, Felicia. Yeah.
All right, everybody, that was 15 minutes. Um, Great work. We're going to switch now to that next set of essays. This is the community and diversity essay. So you might be looking at your talent skill PIQ, your leadership, creativity, community, or standout PIQ where you highlighted in green or blue. Um, so you're going to choose one of these prompts to respond to. If you have research on one of these schools, it would be smart to choose that school's prompt. If you haven't, if you're not applying to any of these schools or you haven't done research on any of these schools, you're going to choose one of these prompts to respond to. You might see a similar prompt when your supplements come out. They're all different, but they have a similar theme. All of these prompts are asking what you are going to bring to a campus. You'll want to give examples that are going to show how you are going to add to their campus culture, their campus life. You want to show that you're a fit for the school and also the school is a fit for you. I'm going to let you read these prompts to yourself, but you are going to be looking for your gyms that you highlighted in blue or green to get your start. This is also a good prompt to do a little research on how you will continue your interests or your activities when you go to college, like joining a campus club or an organization. So once again, we're going to give you 15 minutes to get started on this essay.
Okay, we've got another great question. I'm just going to share it with everyone. The question is whether these are questions from past or current applications. And the answer to that is they're from last year. And they may be the same this year. We're expecting some of them will, but we do see every year that colleges change their questions, so they could change. So just to make sure that there's a good possibility that you can use exactly what you're writing today, but there's also a good possibility that a college could move to a different question or even a video essay. So we're just, this is an unusual year, as you all know. So we have to wait until the Common App prompts come out on August 1st. We don't want you working ahead on essay prompts from prior years, because you'll put a lot of time in, and then if they changed, and we've seen this happen year after year, then it's a lot of your time and energy put into work that then you can't use. So that doesn't make any sense. But questions might be, there'll definitely be some version of this. They might have changed. They might have stayed the same. We have no idea. So that's why we only go by what colleges upload to the Common App, because that's official. And we've even seen in the past that they might put a question on their website, but then when the Common App comes out, it's a different question. So you always want to go by the questions that are actually in the application, because the college may not have had the time to go back and change their website. Administratively, this is a bit of a big deal to change the questions. So that's why you're working with these questions today, but come August 1st, the new questions will come out. And as Shanley described earlier, we will be populating your supplement doc with the questions relevant to your colleges and creating that list for you. So I hope that answers. I hope that's clear.
Sorry about
That's all right. Thank you, Kate. All right, that is the 15 minutes we had for the second question. We're going to move to our third and final sample question here. This is the why us question. The why us question is the most commonly asked supplemental essay question. You most likely will need to write one. What this question is asking is for you to be specific about what excites you about attending that college. We have again listed example schools here on your handout. So historically, some of the schools that have asked this question are Notre Dame University, Boston University, Chapman, Dartmouth, Haverford, Tufts, Washington. So these are just a few examples here. For this response, you can also use any of the gems that you highlighted in yellow, blue, or green. So similar to the last question, you can use any of those highlights that you pulled. If you would like some help with framing, one way to get started is to start with writing, at your college, I plan to further develop this part of myself or these interests by X, and then answer with parts of your highlighted gems and parts of your college research. Again, as Kate instructed earlier in the session, if you don't have a lot of research during this session, you can Google your major plus the name of the college or university. You can Google student clubs plus the name of the college or the mission of the university or college to help with writing this essay. So we will go ahead and take another 15 minutes for this response.
All right, it's been 15 minutes, so we are going to stop there. If you haven't finished, that's obviously a-okay. You can work on this in the next week. You'll want to take these to your WA, and hopefully you'll be able to use a good amount of the material that you did today on your actual supplement essays. One more type of supplement prompt that you might encounter is if you are applying to a religious school. They might ask you about how you use your own learning to help others or how you are engaged in service. We're not going to do another 15 minutes writing on this, but we did want to alert you to this. Some schools that have asked in the past about how your service and your interests align with their religious missions include Santa Clara, USF, LMU, Georgetown. All of these schools ask varying degrees of questions, so it's a good idea to Google the school's mission statement to get a good sense of their values and tailor your essay to that. There's a few good examples in the writing tips document of people who are able to tie their career interest to a school specific religious mission. So check those out too.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. I have posted in chat, everyone, a link to our feedback form. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out. We're also going to be doing questions with Shanley in just a moment. We really appreciate getting any of your thoughts on how this workshop went. We're always trying to improve. Additionally, this is a good time if you're struggling with anything or things aren't going exactly the way you wanted in some aspect of the program. It's a great opportunity to share that with you. It's really important to us that we're able to support you and to know if things are not going exactly the way you'd like and address them to the best of our ability. So if you can fill out that form before leaving today, and then we're going to open up the floor now with Shanley for questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Felicia. And yes, just thank you all for being here today, taking time out of your Sunday. It was great to see so many people here. And for those of you who will be watching this at home, if you have any questions while you're going through the recording, feel free to reach out. For this question section, if anything has come up during the session that feels very specific to you, to your college list, to your particular essays, please just make sure that you've taken a note of them and email your college counselor or potentially also discuss with your writing advisor. But if you have any more general questions, anything about location of documents that we could potentially answer, you can post those to the Q&A and we'll take a couple of minutes to answer any of those questions.
I'll just jump in. There was a really great question about whether affirmative action would have an impact on the questions this year. So, I love that. I know everyone's been thinking about this. There've been a lot of changes this year. It's an interesting year. And then the ChatGPT, of course. There is a possibility. Colleges have always been concerned about diversity and about making sure that they're bringing in students that are going to be open-minded and kind and generous. And so they're trying to both understand who you are and what kind of an identity you bring that will add to that diversity, and then how you will handle being at a school that's very diverse. So those are the kinds of, that's a question that actually we saw over the last few years, kind of starting probably post-COVID, we saw quite a few schools change their questions to address that question in particular. So just to give you an example, NYU had in the past had the question, what excites you about NYU? Excuse me. And they moved to this question. Our campus is very diverse. What the question that you've already read there on the handout that we provided, NYU is a very diverse student and we support inclusion. And how will you help us support the diversity of our school, basically. And so we might see more of that question this year. It's possible. We're really not sure. I think what will happen with ChatGPT, it's possible that some schools might have a video instead of an essay, a written essay, a video essay instead of a written essay. And of course, we'll be finding out as soon as we open up the Common App and see what schools are officially posting on their Common App application, because every college, you have your general application on the Common App, and then every single college on the Common App has its own application. And this is something we'll be kind of stepping into and explaining over the next weeks and gearing up for the boot camp. And in that set, that individual application for each college is where they post their questions. So we'll be going in there, we'll be pulling all of this information and filling out your document and letting you know, what the essay written prompts are, and if there are video essay prompts, and how we'd like you to move forward. And we will be working with you if you do have video essays in place of a written essay for a particular college. So we're not seeing any questions coming through. So if everyone could fill out that feedback form, it's a short one. And again, if there's anything you want to share with us, you can do it there, but you can also always email your CC or reach out to us on Hello. And we can be continuing to send weekly updates. Please do pay attention to those. They get more important as we're going through the season, which is basically launched on the 1st. So the UC application relaunches on the 1st, the Common App relaunches on the 1st. Just as a reminder, the Common App will shut down the 26th through midnight on the 31st. So you will not be able to actually access your Common application. It's just not available. It goes offline. Also, so just keep that in mind as we send out requests for you to complete your Common App and get it ready for the boot camp on the 6th. You'll be able to start, return to work on the 1st. You can work on it before the 26th, but it will be closed in that window. That's just one reminder. The other reminder is if you're kind of jumping ahead and adding the colleges to your Common App, we totally support. That's great. It's a great thing to do to just kind of go in and pop around and see what's in there. But do not answer the questions, because you can if you just want to practice it, see what they're like, but do not answer the questions under each college, because they'll get eliminated. They'll basically clear that entire section because each college is changing its questions and updating what information it's collecting from you each year. So they'll just blank it out. You won't see the answers to your questions there after August 1st. So that's just a warning that you don't really want to try to jump ahead in that regard, because the work will be taken out. And that's what we'll be going over in the Common App boot camp. We're basically going to be kind of walking through the trickier aspects of the Common App. We're going to be asking you to complete your Common App prior to the boot camp, and we'll be providing instructions on the basics. It's pretty straightforward. You're putting your transcript in, you're putting in your address, your phone number, where you go to high school. If your activities list has been approved by your CC and it's all revisions are done and you've been given the okay to put it in your Common App, you can add your activities into your Common App. And then in the boot camp, we're basically, again, going through the sort of trickier, you have to sign agreements. We want to teach you about where you're going to be requesting letters of recommendation from your teacher and your counselor. We'll walk you through the question section, which is different for every college. So we're going to introduce you to that and what you want to keep your eyes open for. And of course, take any of your questions, but you'll be most successful and feel least overwhelmed if you follow all of our homework assignments prior to that boot camp, so that everything is completed and you'll be able to move forward. Because the way the Common App works is that you have to fill out first the Common App profile page in order to take other steps, like answer the questions for each college in your college search tab. So in any event, we'll be sending out information and reminding you about all of this. Again, it's really important that we're supporting you, that you feel like you understand what's going on, that you know where to find things. We know Google Drive can be a little bit large. So the two folders that you're using the most are shared in all essays. And if you just type those words into your Google Drive search, you should be able to access those folders. Hopefully you've been doing that and it's been pretty easy so far. If it hasn't, anytime you don't know where something is, you don't know what's going on, you've read something in the email and you're not quite sure what it refers to, we really, really, really want you to reach out. We can't read minds. We're not living in your home. We need to know what's going on. So please, especially over the next 2 months, as we get you to the finish line, please stay in communication with us. If anything is making you unhappy or you're not feeling good or you're super stressed out, let us know. We're here to make this process simple for you. You've been putting in a lot of work. We front load this process so that when you go back to school and you've got all your sports, all your activities, all your courses, you're not going to be super overwhelmed. You're not going to be stressed. You're going to be able to sleep well at night because you will have done a ton of the work, gotten it out of the way, and now you're working on refinement, which is a much better place to be. So again, thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your patience. Please, please, please let us know if there's anything we can do to make this process easier on you. We know it's a lot. It's a big deal. This is sort of a life event. It's like applying for a visa in another country or a passport in another country. It's a big undertaking. And we really appreciate how much work you've been putting in so that you can do the best job possible and we can help you to do that. So thanks again. Thanks, Shanley and Kate.
So much. Thank you, everyone.
And we'll see you all very soon.
Right.
And we'll just, we're just going to stay in here for a little bit as you fill out the form, but the form is in the chat. If you're unable to see it, I think everybody has it. You should be able to see it. You can just open that up and fill it out. And then, yeah, we'll be very thankful for any feedback you have for us. So have a great rest of your Sunday and, another great summer week. I'm going to stop the recording.